Hello and welcome back to Even More News, the first and only news podcast. My name is Katy Stoll, and you are?
I'm Cody. Thank you so much for allowing me to say my name. Hi.
This week, we are very excited. First time Even More News guest, comedian, correspondent, and host of the podcast, The Bitchuation Room. It's Francesca Fiorentini.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Thanks for allowing me to not say my name.
Oh, yeah, I took that over for you.
And you crushed it.
Francesca, do you ever feel stressed out introducing people on your show? No, you don't.
All the time.
You do? Okay.
All of the time. And my show is live, and so it's very embarrassing because I will live try to pronounce it and then pronounce it wrong, and then you go back, and then it's just a thing.
It's like, it feels terrible. It really does. And I'll practice it before we start.
That's because you're a good
I'll
person.
be saying it in my head, like, don't say it the wrong way, don't say it the wrong way, don't say it the wrong
and then
way,
it's that
say it
wrong
the wrong
way sticks. Yes.
And I am a trained actress, or, I've done that before. I know how to memorize shit, and it's not when it comes to names that I'm. Anyway, I got yours right, and that feels good.
Yeah, no, thank you.
We're going to chit chat.
With us, as always, is Jonathan.
Oh, Jonathan's here too.
Jonathan's here too. Jonathan's also here? Jonathan's here too.
Jonathan's also here too.
The trend of introducing me on each episode and then not knowing how to do it, I think should continue 50
There's
more
definitely
episodes.
a phrase of remembering that Jonathan's here. But
Jonathan Harris?
Even on the fifth take, you couldn't get it right.
Harris, right? Damn it.
Sixth take,
Well,
nailed it.
there's always next week. Holidays. We got them.
Ooh.
We do. Friday, June 21st, National Daylight Appreciation Day. Friday, June 21st is the longest day of daylight in the Northern Hemisphere.
Okay.
Does that mean it's solstice? Is that the
summer solstice?
Isn't the summer
another-
solstice?
So it could be National Happy Summer Solstice Day.
Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, there's an element of this that's they always try to shoehorn in, like, appreciate it. But, like, just acknowledge it. It's the longest day of daylight in Northern Hemisphere. Now you know that. Do we need to appreciate the concept of daylight?
Yeah,
in
Daylight
order to
Appreciation Day.
recognize
Celebrate
this?
it by going out and getting a nice fat sunburn.
There's a little bit of like anti-night bigotry happening as well.
Yeah,
or maybe
for sure. Well, there might be a National Nighttime Appreciation Night.
it feels like night gets a bad rap generally. The
Well, it's
bad things
spooky.
happen at night. It's supposed to be spooky.
Fewer people
Yeah.
are experiencing it, so maybe it's misunderstood. They don't get it because they're asleep
Super
during the night,
misunderstood.
right?
Where I live, predators come out at night, so there's that.
Like the predators.
I feel like you need to say more. Are
Well,
you
like
okay?
mountain lions and
Oh,
bears.
got it.
I'm fine, but my trash isn't when I put it out, and the bears get in there. Although I did learn a tip to pour ammonia in your trash can, and the smell sends them away. These are mountain problems, ladies and gentlemen.
What does that mean? You pee on your? Isn't there ammonia in piss?
You don't have to. You can get ammonia.
No, you gotta piss. You
You
gotta
pee on it.
You gotta pee on it.
The last time a bear got into my trash, a friend was like, "You got to pour ammonia in it," and I didn't have ammonia, and I did cross my mind, and I was like, "So can I just pee in it?" I went and bought ammonia. It cost $3, and it's a big jug.
Peeing's free.
Peeing is free.
Anyway,
Bidenomics for you.
Peeing is freedom.
Bidenomics. All right, we've spent so much time on this one. I don't think we need to do the second holiday.
I don't disagree.
It's National Being You Day. Just be you, y'all.
We're gonna be us, and we're gonna say this holiday. Moving
I don't
on.
know who else to be.
Well, perfect, because now's
Good.
I just scrolled in my doc and it says chit chat with Francesca, so you get to be
Excellent.
you right now. First thing I want to shout out to all of us. This is a video podcast right now, baby.
That's true.
We are
attempting.
posting this on YouTube.
Probably. I mean, yes.
Probably. We haven't done it before. We've been experimenting the last couple weeks with doing this and putting it on Patreon and whatnot, but I'm acknowledging that both because it feels like I should acknowledge it, but also you have been doing this for a while now, the video podcast. Not just video, it's a live stream.
Yeah, it is.
And that's a lot of work.
No, I mean, it's actually kind of chill because if you up, you f***ed up, and that's what it is. You can't go back. So there's something beautiful about the live format. But now that I know it could be video, I will make eye contact with my beautiful lens over there. There it is.
I know it's a hard thing because I'm trying to make eye contact with you, but in order to really make eye contact with you, I got to look at the camera.
Yeah, I can't see any of you right now, and it's very frustrating.
But we are looking
and then people are going to see me look down here, which is my monitor. I'm not being weird and avoidant. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm excited for this. I hope people enjoy this. I had to put on makeup.
I love a good excuse, though. I love any excuse. The pandemic was like, someone give me an excuse to wear lipstick. I think that's why I started doing the live stream in the pandemic, because I was like,
lipstick?
Just give me an excuse to put on some lipstick and feel happy.
It's not a bad excuse.
I'll start wearing suits. Should I wear suits next week when we?
I mean, it's the middle of summer. It's the longest day of the year.
Yeah. Wild time of year to make that move. But if you want to, I do support you. I'm a supportive friend.
Thank you. I'm just trying to be visually engaging instead of.
I think you should wear lipstick, Cody. I mean,
I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you still have the Jordan Peterson tux?
Do you want my chapstick?
What do I have, Jordan Peterson?
Do you still have the Jordan Peterson tux?
Oh, yes.
Oh, well.
So that every week?
That's a suit.
Well, there you go. We've
technically a suit. Yeah. All right. I'm a tux guy now.
Francesca, you were on Piers Morgan's show.
Oh, boy.
A few months back. And I don't know. What was that like?
This is a fun moment to be talking to you guys about that, because I have been going on there probably every other week I've been on like 5 times now.
Oh.
And there's part of me that's like, why? And when I see who I am paired with, I'm like, oh, we're all dumb. Like they don't want context. They don't want anyone talking about real things, policy. If you bring up any kind of like historical information, everyone bristles and gets mad at you because you're not screaming and calling someone, like an anti-Semite. So it's a weird vibe, because I don't actually make a habit of going on right-wing media, but I don't really put Piers in that right-wing media sphere. But after going on this many times, I think I need to, and I actually don't know why I'm doing it. Because for everyone who's listening, there is no money. You do not get paid. It is just time that you get to sweat about it, and then go on and spend an hour of your time talking to people who ate way too many paint chips as a child. And it's fun when you can make it fun. Like, that's for me, is like, I want to be able to get a joke in. I want to make it fun. If it's me versus like 4 literal ghouls who, will not see me as anything other than like a crazed Marxist leftist who believes trans people are people, then like, I don't know about this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
I absolutely. This has been, Cody, we've talked about this before a lot. Like, why not go debate this person, do this? But it's all bad faith. What actually is being accomplished when the whole point is dunking and talking louder, talking over, not actually engaging with a fact, just trying to bulldoze through an idea that's going to land with an audience. There's that.
I think you got to have an approach. Like, I really admire Bassem Youssef, the comedians, just like pure ironic take. Everything is ironic and everything is sarcastic that comes out of his mouth. So he's not even really trying to score points. He's just he's just living in this like sarcasm, just like drenched with like disgust for everybody.
Yeah,
and I kind of
it's a
like
demonstration of like who he's talking to.
Right.
And that's what trips people up so much, where it's like, you're saying this thing and I know you're being sarcastic and it sounds bad when you say it, but I've been saying something similar, and like it's hard for people to contend with. And like you're saying, like it seems like you can't bring up policy, you can't bring up history, you can't bring up these things because it's a purely emotional like feature of the program.
Yes.
We're gonna get people, they're gonna yell at each other, they're gonna get mad, and that's the
and
content.
I think to the degree of like, are you gonna be a left-wing punching bag? And I don't want to be I'm a fucking comic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like to do like deep dives. I like to be, you know, on my show, on this show. I like to be honest and talk serious policy. But I'm also like, I'm not a expert. But when I go on there and it's like 4 right-wing ghouls and me, I'm like, oh shit, now I have to be everyone's like mother, father, professor, child. Like, now I've got to represent the entire anyone left of, you know, like Piers Morgan, who's literally so far right. Like, I just, it's a lot. And so the question is like, do you keep doing it? Do you fight in this arena? Do you not fight in this arena? And oh my God, I can't believe some of these people are making hand over fist money by just straight up lying to folks.
I so relate to what you're saying. I felt a lot of that. I think we all kind of did, especially, you know, things are taking off with COVID. So not in that environment. We weren't on Piers Morgan's show, but in general, it's like, it's a lot. And when you think about representing a very wide community against these people who are so bad faith, it's incredibly stressful. And their whole point is to make you look bad.
Yeah. And again, it's not fun. I'm like, I'm not, this isn't fun anymore. Like, like I've gone on multiple times to talk about Trump, and he's actually so far up Trump's nut. Like, he's up his butt. Like, he's just like examining his prostate on the regs. And it's so funny because Piers is a little bit like more sensible on other issues, but you know, a little bit.
It's like crumbs almost. Like, all right, I'll be like reasonable here.
Yeah, and it's so interesting to find someone who truly still is on Trump's dick, like someone who rides it like that much. Because for me, I'm like, oh, talk about Trump. This is hilarious. This is fun. Like, let's go. It's not fun anymore if you like really ride his dick, and like I can't even get a joke in without you like hitting back at me some weird misogynistic shit. Like, so that kind of thing is like, man, like I want it to be fun.
Yeah, if you're not having fun, if you're not like
Being
even
paid.
able to make those points, not getting paid, like it's
Probably a secret plus is a lot of hateful people reaching out on the internet.
Oh,
I would imagine.
so many, so many.
So not a payment, but open threats to your life.
Bonus,
so
the comments.
My favorite was like, you know, just so like, you commie Chinese scum, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, Kevin, 555-723-8967. Like, just like, he left
here's my number.
He left his phone number.
Yeah, he wants to be able to put you in your place and then buy you dinner.
Are you for real? Are you
Yes,
for real?
he left his phone number on in this email, and I'm like, my guy, do you just want a hug? You want someone to reach out to you? I'm pretty sure. Like, call me if you want to talk about how you're a feminazi lib. Bye.
What a weird move.
Weird move. Well, very boomer, very boomer. No, but I did share his number with my patrons and the Frantifa, as I call them. So maybe someone called him. Who knows?
Good for you.
Yeah.
All right, we should talk about news. Yeah. We've got some of it.
We do.
And
even more of
Jonathan, who is also here, is going to set us up.
So, a couple days ago, Benjamin Netanyahu put out a video criticizing the Biden administration for, quote, withholding weapons and ammunitions to Israel. And this reportedly confused the White House because they've sent all the weapons they've wanted, except, of course, for the one shipment of 2,000-pound bombs that was withheld a few months ago because they were like, you're going to use those in Rafah. And he's like, well, yeah, but please give me the bombs.
But we want to.
But we want our bombs.
Well, right. He released a video saying, this is what I said to Secretary of State Antony Blinken. In response to this, the White House canceled a U.S.-Israel meeting on Iran that was originally scheduled for Thursday. This meeting was already canceled once by Netanyahu months before, so they're just like, they keep rescheduling this meeting so that one side can angrily cancel it
everything is so performative all the time. It's so frustrating to watch. Like, I mean, obviously for the past 7 months now, right? 6 or 7 months? Unbelievable. But, like, just all these reports, like, Biden's so upset. You guys, 8, 9. He's so upset. He can't even sleep. And he's the sleepiest guy we know. He's so mad at Netanyahu. And then, like, nothing happens, obviously. And now, like, it's just, I'm not saying that, like, it's coordinated. It's just so obviously like we say the things and we like do the little performance and things continue on forever.
Well, it feels like a PR kind of thing in a way too.
Well, it's like they can use the opportunity for that. Yeah.
Yeah, no. And I mean, what's so interesting about this whole song and dance is that we're still, and by we I mean the United States and Biden, is still pretending that Israel is acting in good faith. Like that we still have to pretend that they want to do anything other than ethnically cleanse Gaza, which is what they've been successfully doing for nearly 9 months now. And so that is what's so embarrassing about it. And it truly makes Biden look incredibly weak. And, there's a perfect example with this latest ceasefire deal that was originally an Israeli suggestion. I mean, it was an Israeli proposition for this ceasefire. It's like, it has 3 stages. There's a revisiting, there's hostages released. All hostages released initially in exchange for Palestinian women and children held by Israel. And it seems like the United States went around Israel and announced, because they were excited about it. They were, look, Israel's into this deal. And then Hamas immediately agrees to it. And it's like, oh, and Hamas agreed to it, right? But Israel's like, well, now that you said it, I don't really want it anymore. It's like the mean girl in high school who's like, now that the poor girl is playing with that toy or is listening to this music, it's it's super not cool anymore. And so then
the deal has cooties on it, so they can't
exactly. And they're sort of switching it around. And so it's like, and the U.S. is super willing to play along with Israel's bad faith game. They just want an actual ceasefire because it's politically beneficial to them, as we all know. And they're like, well, whatever you need us to do to make you look like the good guys, we're going to do. And they're like, no. And the answer is they don't want a ceasefire. They want one. They still want more weapons. And they want to continue to ethnically cleanse the people of Gaza or genocide them. And that's it. So it's just like, what are we doing still?
Helping them genocide them.
Yes, that's exactly what we're doing.
I mean, yeah, and it's just it's so obvious that it's not even like Lucy football stuff. It's not like, oh no, she tricked us again. It's like we're gonna pretend to do the football thing. Oh no, they tricked us again. We don't care. I mean, we care, but there doesn't seem to be any sense from the administration that this is a problem. Actually, it's always used to extend that performance of the Lucy football instead of actually trying to kick.
And in the meantime, they look incredibly weak. I mean, what's crazy is and I know, the idea of looking strong as someone who is critical of U.S. militarism and hegemony always seemed ridiculous to me. I don't need to look strong. And I feel like now I'm like, hey, can we look strong at all in this issue? Because we truly don't. And say what you will about Trump, he would be worse. It's hard to be worse on this issue, but he would be. But at least he would stand by his conviction to support genocide. At least he would stand by. He wouldn't allow Netanyahu to make him look so goddamn weak.
Well, yeah. And at least it would be very clear. I mean, we've mentioned this on this show and other things before, but Donald Trump says it and everybody gets mad and how dare you, sir, say that and behave this way. But right now it's all muddy. We're like, well, we should support Biden and this isn't what he actually means and blah, blah, blah. No, he's doing effectively the things that Donald Trump would be doing. Maybe he would be doing something worse, more. Maybe he wouldn't have paused that specific shipment of bombs. But he would
crack down on the protesters more. He would be more vocally against.
Yes,
he would be probably calling for you got to wipe him out. You got to get he would be.
It would be worse. Ugly. But what I'm saying is, but then people would be unified in seeing the ugliness.
100%, exactly.
And yes, in the most brilliant twist of having spineless liberals
on our team.
Yeah, and then oh gosh. I hope that makes it onto the video. What is up?
First of all, Cody, if you ever wanted to kick the air quotes habit,
this is
you can kick it. If you're listening, Cody's Mac, I guess, just created some sort of graphic behind him. I still can't get it to work.
I don't even know how I set it to do that. And now it does it every time. I can do this and get balloons. The other day, I was just on a call. It was like a family call, and I was going like this. And there it goes. There's the thumb. There it is.
Anyway, for our listeners, go check out the YouTube video.
Go check out the video.
But there's all sorts of weird things popping up on Cody's screen and mine as we gesture.
I think that Cody brings up a really good point that I actually haven't talked about enough and thought about enough, which is I think that internationally, Trump probably wouldn't have built the pier that then floated away and is being dismantled for, humanitarian aid. But yes, the crackdown on protesters in this country, although has been horrible. We saw what the NYPD did to Columbia students. We've seen all the number of bills passed, to make it illegal to protest and whatnot. But like, it would be worse. Like, there were extrajudicial killings during the Black Lives Matter movement in 2020 when Trump was president. Like, that I think is a marked difference. And yeah, I don't want to find out what that looks like.
Yeah, it's so hard to talk about this kind of thing because everyone's scared. I understand that. It just sucks because like somebody could have died during these protests already. A gun went off during it from a cop's gun. If Trump was the president,
cars have driven into them.
Yes. If Trump was the president, I feel like people would have definitely died. Probably by the hands of police.
It's possible.
Possibly by counter protesters or whatever. But it seems like the violence would be way worse. Which isn't to say that we should not be pushing to like stop what's going on. It's just.
But to your point, Francesca, when Donald Trump was president, our big concern was one of many is like, oh, we are a laughing stock internationally. And I'm like, we still are. we still have tarnished our international reputation.
It's not even necessarily like weakness that's being portrayed. It's just like unwillingness to contend with reality that everybody sees, which is perceived as weak. But like there's this in response to this video, White House press secretary responded, what's the phrase? We genuinely do not know what he's talking about. And like, what? Are you in the business of politics? Are you do you communicate with the White House on these issues? Like constantly pretending like we don't see what's going on is very embarrassing and shameful. And I think that's like the real thing that's like baffling to people.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not even contending with reality. You're pretending like you don't understand what's going on. And
I spread that as more like pissy, just like we don't know what he's talking about. Because let's be real, Netanyahu's video was so pissy. He was such a pissy little bitch. Like
It's messy bitch.
We've given you everything, dog, and he's just still like, it is wild to me, and his like crazy. Like, I don't know. He's got a really weird demon voice with like a Philly accent, that you whatever, restrict weapons, blah, blah, blah. And just like, honestly, you watch that and as again, shit that I don't expect to feel, which is like an American who's like protective of like, you taking all of our, taxpayer dollars that I paid way too much in this year. And I'm just like, F you, you know what I mean? F you. You're treating not like, you don't treat my president like that. Our terrible
leave Joe alone.
Leave Joe alone. Like anything that makes me
tired.
Exactly.
Let the man sleep.
Exactly. I know it's just wild to me. Yeah, they need to really get their shit straight. At the end of the day, what's crazy is that Netanyahu wants Trump to be president again, and that's wild.
That's the other thing too. That's the weakness, right? Where it's like you're letting him like these weird like pissy lies and very clearly wants your opponent to win, and you're like, well, stay in the course.
Everyone makes a comparison, wrong comparisons that Biden makes the wrong comparison to Ukraine and Russia. But if this were Putin doing this to Biden about allowing him to continue to kill the Ukrainian people, we would have no problem seeing that this is clearly a bad faith guy who's psychopathic, wants to kill as many Ukrainians as possible, and ultimately wants to work with Donald Trump. That is very clear. That would be very clear.
Yeah.
And here you have Biden bending over backwards for Putin, doing everything for Putin. But again, because it's Israel and it obviously there's extra layers of bad faith anti-Semitism, levied at anyone who criticizes genocide, we are where we are.
But speaking of Biden, this is a good time. Joe Biden, he's got some other problems circling him.
Speaking of how sleepy and tired
Speaking
Joe
of
Biden
so
is.
sleepy and his bad poll numbers, Jonathan, tell us about what's going on. Is the conservative media being good faith in representing Joe Biden?
It's funny. You don't even really need to stretch that far to show Joe Biden's a little old and feeble, isn't he? But they are. They're stretching some videos to their limits.
It's like the reality is bad enough.
Yeah, it's like whenever anybody's like, oh, Trump said that, like, I can't even think of an example because he said so many wild things that are just bad. But, like, you see lies about Trump or, like, these misrepresentations, and it's like, you don't need to do that. He's a monster. He's a monstrous old man.
Fair and balanced point of view, Cody.
Thank you.
I almost
I'm
called you
always
Jody,
fair. I'm
but I
always
didn't mean to
balanced.
do that.
That's not my name, but it's okay. It's a combination of my first and last name.
It was because
I'm
I was
okay with
saying Cody and also trying to pivot to Joe. It was not that thoughtful. There's one video being shared. It's at the G7 summit, and there's like parachutists dropping down around, and in one angle of the video, it appears that Biden wanders off, and then Georgia Maloney has to like bring him back over, and everyone's saying like, look at this old man wandering off. And from a different angle, you see that's not accurate. There were people parachuting down right out of frame, and he was going over to give them a thumbs up, and then Georgia Maloney grabbed him to take a photo.
What's so funny about this is I have not seen the other angle. Like, I just saw it and I was like, I don't care. I don't care if he's wandering off. I don't even give a there's clearly something over there, but I was so tickled by the fact that there were just men parachuting right next to him. Like, I was like, what could it be? I thought it was, oh, he's waving at a friend. There's a person. There's a birdie. I don't know. No. It's people who are just like, zoom. Like, they nearly land on him. And of course he's going to turn around and be like, wow, cool, good job.
And he should be allowed to walk off on a side quest once in a while if he wants to.
He's the president. He's a busy man.
Do what I do when I play video games. You just try to find the edge of it and go like,
yeah,
right up against it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I mean, he does look like an old man tottering around, but
he always
like,
does
he
because he's an old man, and so is Donald Trump. They're both old men,
and Donald Trump doesn't have knees.
But also, like, you know, there's an element of this, like,
Cody.
He doesn't have knees actually. Oh, thank you so much.
Was that a callback?
It's a callback from like 8 years ago.
Cody's own bit.
It's literally from like his first year of the presidency. It just seems like he doesn't have any knees, and I think that that's still true.
They're always locked.
They've been hiding. They're always locked.
They're locked.
They look locked because they're not
because
there.
he doesn't have them.
Oh.
He doesn't have them. They've been removed, and it's just top and bottom. Just sort of, like,
he'd waddle way more if he didn't have knees.
Look, are you trying to like destroy my theory?
Yeah. This is like
you did, because you're right. He would be waddling more and he wouldn't have bent his knees in many, many videos. The point is, Joe Biden is very old, and this clip, even without the cropping, you could look at it and go, oh, he's kind of old and like kind of wanders off, and he's not necessarily focused on like what they're there for. It's fine. He's waving at the people. It's not like without the cropping, it doesn't like fill me with confidence, but it doesn't like completely destroy my confidence. It's just like, why? You don't need to do this. You don't need to do this. There's so many videos of him. He's going to be on stage with Donald Trump talking to him next week.
Yeah.
We'll all see it. I'm sure he'll be fine.
They got to have something to keep the rage up, to keep the jokes and the dunks coming. There's also this video, I guess Libs of TikTok, cool, and other people suggesting that Biden, where is this event? It's of Biden freezing up at a fundraiser. Is a way that they're portraying it, and that Obama has to help him off stage. No, he just did a 40-minute conversation on stage with Jimmy Kimmel.
I'm sympathetic to these problems, because like I'm in the camp that does think that Joe Biden's really old and maybe too old to be the president. It would have been nice last month, the month before that, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, a year ago, if they had that conversation internally and maybe decided that maybe somebody else.
We still got him. Younger? I think he can get younger still?
Yes. I think we can find the Fountain of Youth.
That's what he's doing a side quest.
It wasted on him.
Youth.
Maybe those parachutists had it.
It's in those like those whale-like creatures in the Avatar planet on Pandora. I just watched Way of the Water finally after like 10 sittings. I'm a mom and I don't get a lot of time. And so it's in their little gullet situations. It's just, I hate the whataboutism here because my mind immediately plays the game and I'm like, did we all not see Mitch McConnell completely like beach ball of death it for 45 seconds twice.
More than once,
right? Yeah.
Like, and he's still in the Senate. Like, it's just wild to me, you know? And so, yeah, they're both old and senile. It's just, which old senility do you want? Do you want the guy who wants to be Mussolini, or do you want the guy who's just like a pancake breakfast grandpa who wants to give people thumbs up even though they're not even looking at him, and it's embarrassing?
And he wants his ice cream.
He
Wants his ice cream.
Yeah, it's just like, it is a little frustrating because he is like, again,
Running for
they
president.
Should have found somebody else.
Again.
He's running for president. That's the situation. There are clips of him talking at length where he doesn't wander off, where he's like completely lucid and he's present and he's there, and you can make a compilation of all his like senior moments, and that's not good. That there are all of these moments where it's like there's so many of them, but he's also like doing this thing. I don't know. It's just a frustrating situation that he seems to have forced upon all of us after implying.
Remember how he was going to be a transitional candidate?
Implying that he was going to be a
I
transitional
do
candidate.
remember that. And you know what, Francesca? When
Sorry
I brought that up online once, everyone got mad at me, and that was one of my last
Never
stands on
tweets.
Twitter. Like, fuck all of you guys.
Oh yeah, blue
I didn't
MAGA.
phrase it great.
Well,
I
he
didn't phrase
didn't,
it great.
He also didn't officially say that. It was like a floated idea that his campaign was kind of.
Yeah,
putting
but it
out
was
there.
really
He
floated,
wanted
and
to
I'm not
have
the only
it
one that
both
remember.
ways because there was a Politico article that was like, Biden signals to aides that he might be a one-term president, but he never said it out loud to
Never
anyone
pledged it, he
himself.
never
So
said it
of
out
course,
loud.
Sure.
many people have this false memory that he definitely said I would be a one-term president. I believe he also said like transition to the next generation, but he didn't really specify
there
how
were
many
some heavy
decades that
implications.
transition might
But
take.
I know that at point that was a lot for me at the time. Like, well, if it's just once.
Oh, I agree that would have been great if he was, but it was never like officially said. And I think that's the frustration we're now.
I have
like,
something
you should have done that. What's
to
up?
officially say.
We love it.
We got to take an ad break.
Which supports this show, so thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna
What
be
a pro.
right back for even more news. And we're back. It's like no time has passed. We're still talking Biden.
Damn it.
Is he young yet?
No, but should we talk about a couple good things, Biden?
Let's do it. I think it's always nice to just sprinkle these in, because if it weren't for his increasing age and his increasing disinterest in stopping ethnic cleansing, and in fact participating in it, and one could say encouraging it, aside from those things that have gotten worse and worse and worse every month, he has done good things as a president. And
Jonathan,
he
what are
could
those?
have been considered a pretty decent president were it not for a few other,
If only.
glaring problems. But
Right. This week, the Biden administration granted new protections to undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens. It means about 500,000 undocumented spouses will be shielded from deportation and given a pathway to citizenship.
I'll be honest. This is really good. I don't understand why this wasn't already true.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's wild.
Yeah,
United States of
Katie-
America. United States of America.
Katie sort of has my thought on this, and like I thought I was. I married someone who was not a citizen. Then they got a green card and could become a citizen. But I'm like, shouldn't there be aren't there already on ramps to becoming a citizen if you are married to one? But that just shows how expensive and bureaucratic it is to actually achieve that and get your green card. And so I think this expedites it. But again, it's he giveth and taketh when it comes to immigration policy. It's one of his most Trumpian policies.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't undo everything he's done on the border. It doesn't undo denying asylum to those who are fleeing violence. But it's also super arbitrary. If you've been in this country by Monday, for 10 years by Monday, but not Tuesday, you've been in this country 9 years and 364 days. So it's sort of a weirdly arbitrary mark, if I'm not mistaken, Jonathan.
I don't know.
Thank you.
I
Then it's
always
whatever I
hesitate to say
said.
that
No,
on the
but
show.
that all I mean, you've got extra perspective too, because your husband did he get his green card?
He did, but he's my
he
ex
did.
now. So, and it wasn't a green card marriage. So I just want to clarify that.
No, but thank you for that clarification. But I'm like, that's
I just
been a
made
thing,
the wrong
right?
decision.
Like we made.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
I legitimately
on your,
made the wrong choice.
I congratulate you on exiting that marriage.
Thank you.
That's
Congratulations.
wonderful news.
Thank you. Can I get some balloons though?
You can get some balloons.
Yeah.
Thank
where's
you.
You
the
can also
balloons?
get some confetti.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we
That doesn't
go.
work so much for me. It works much more consistently for Cody. Audio only
Works too
listeners, we're
consistently
still
for me.
making the hand gestures at the
Yes, we
screen to
are.
try to get. Mine's not working. It's
called celebration.
So yeah, I guess that wasn't as good of a thing. Here's the thing:
We trying our
the
best.
Biden stuff.
No, it is good.
Here's the
Of course
thing:
it's
it is
good.
good. Of course, it's good. But the thing that we were going to mention is, forgiving some student loan stuff. And like, look, I'm thrilled. If you were one of those people, I'm so happy for you. I wish there was confetti. I get stuck on how is that fixing the problem? We've got more kids entering every year, signing up, amassing huge amounts. Like, to me, it's like one of those things where like, yay, look at our guy, he did it. And it's like, he didn't do it though. He did that for these people and congrats, but let's keep this conversation going because
Yeah.
the real issue has not been addressed in any way. We've just forgiven some debt.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like with happened or is going to happen, but medical debt can't be used against your credit score.
Huge.
Is one move, which is huge, but also like maybe solve the medical debt problem, like
Right.
Exactly.
like it's this thing of like
The
signaling that like there's a problem here and it's compounded by this other problem that exists and
Yes.
all these sort of systems like feeding into each other and acknowledging like, oh, medical debt's a huge problem and it's affecting people's credit scores. We should not let that happen. But that's it.
No, I think that's a really important point, and I think it speaks to how much he's missing the mark. And I think, especially with young people, where everything is so acute, they're sort of becoming politicized. They're learning about, the ways that capitalism fucks us all, that it's leading to our, the warmest, whatever, 15th, 16th, 17th month we've been in ever recorded history. Like, and it's like, yeah, all this is good, but it's way too little and it's way too late. And not only that, but it's not actually allowing us to get out of the jaws of neo-fascism, which are very much clamping down on this country, whether it's Trump or not. So it's like, it's not enough to actually turn the tide against like authoritarianism. It's not enough to protect democracy. It's just chipping away at it at this really late stage. Again, it's just like I don't know, whatever Titanic, metaphor you want to use, where we're just taking a little teaspoon and we're like, I'm just going to be in this corner and I'm going to, slowly
Right,
take
and there's
the
all
water
this
out.
people using the flooding to do all these terrible things or scare people and this
Absolutely.
and this, and you need to get rid of that water in order to make people. Yeah.
Well, because this is the bare minimum to try to appease the people that actually got him elected. It's like the bare minimum without actually pissing off the other people that got him elected, the private interests, the different, like they don't want, the medical industry doesn't want this fixed.
And they're suing him. I mean, to his credit, this administration has a lot of lawsuits coming at him when they're trying to regulate the price of insulin. Tons of lawsuits, right? But talk about that. Be like, Big Pharma fucking hates me. Oh, you hate Big Pharma? Big Pharma hates me even more because I'm trying to fight for you all. You know what I'm saying? Do some shit. Like, be loud. And if you can't even be loud because you got a sweet little grandpa voice, then get Kamala, get someone to talk about it. But even the shit that's cool, they can't stand by. Pete Buttigieg saying that, if your flight gets canceled, if it's domestic, you are entitled to your full refund or whatever. Talk about it.
all the time. Talk about that all
the time. Talk about it. And they just don't.
We've always had a
They don't-
messaging problem.
They don't.
too.
They just,
Like-
there's just
Yeah.
no fire in the positivity. And
Sure.
that's what you need to be like excited about things that you've done and want to continue doing.
Yeah, you can't have wonks just get excited. Like, wonks are not good messengers for this, this progress. It's like, first of all, it's difficult to follow the wonks. And then when you do, it's like, oh, wait, what? Like can we message this in a mass way? I mean, I do think, though, that the student loan debt is funny because it reminds me of like the problem of like, you've got a chicken and a wolf and like some like feed on one side of a river, and you're like, you can't bring them all across at the same time. So how do you like what do you bring across first? That's like how Biden's doing student loan. It's like, you'll get sued. Republicans will hate you. The courts will fight you.
Yeah, the Supreme Court won't let you bring a wolf and a chicken and just keep them at opposite ends or put them in a cage or something. They'll be like, nope, you got to follow the lake rules.
You gotta do
so
one
in
at a
some
time.
ways, it's like by our we are so skewed to the right in this country that even trying to pull it back a little bit, you're already going to be thwarted by a system that is, again, so skewed to the right and to the rich. When I say right, just hear rich.
Right.
Like, and so it's just like, because we need actual structural change.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Adobe gets successfully sued for their shit, if Live Nation and Ticketmaster get split up, that's good.
That's good.
Junk fees going away, that's good.
The
And just,
antitrust
like-
is some of the best stuff. Let's be real. Like,
Totally.
but talk about it.
And right, because so much of some of this stuff is because of like people he hired and people he appointed, and like they're great and they're doing their job, but their job isn't to tell us all about it. Their job is to do these things.
Right.
His job, part of it, is to be a communicator to the people. It's a big part
and I
of the
think that
presidency
comes
is
from like the
communication.
political, like where he comes from politically is both you can get along with the right, which is obviously misguided now. They're going to have an epiphany, which they never did. They call him like a crime boss. And then also like kind of, well, if you can't sell it, then stealthily do it. But that actually doesn't work because the people who voted for you in 2020 are not getting excited about it because you're not actually getting them excited about it. And even the COVID stuff, I guess he sort of touted the American Rescue Plan, but even like the vaccine, everyone the world over, politicians who like successfully, weathered. I mean, Trump arguably didn't weather COVID, but like even Biden is like, he can't even tout that because COVID is not a popular issue anymore, or the vaccines are not a popular issue.
Right.
Because like they don't really work the way they were supposed to.
No, they don't, do they?
They don't work.
There's a deer. Yeah, because you have to keep going and getting another one.
They really shouldn't have promised that like COVID would be over after the vaccines came along, which was partially a Trump thing because he was like, this is going to make me a hero.
Yes, it was.
But like, we still all got kind of excited that we would never get it again, even though the vaccines are great and work very well to prevent death, etc. But like,
Oh yeah.
they
and
kinda told
some
us it would be
transmission,
over.
but I mean the bad again. So much of this comes down to, well, part of it is like new thing. We don't know anything about this, and we're like actively we're like trying to like gather information about this virus as the months go by. But part of it is just this lack of like actual communication and ability to communicate. And we know when things are updated or things are changed, like explaining why, not being like, we were wrong, or like we changed our minds, or it's arbitrary. It's like, no, we discovered this thing and this. There's like a path of communication that and it's not all there. Like part of it is impossible because of the state of things and the state of media and the state of the nation, where communication is harder and harder every moment.
Well, because truly everything is going to be fodder for the political theater dumpster fire.
Exactly.
So it's, you could say every issue that comes up, there's going to be the position that you take, and then the other side's going to take the opposite position. Even if on the surface we should all be able to easily agree on the time sequence of events here. But
I have to always mention, I used to live in Argentina, but when I lived there, and whether or not you like this or don't, but the test of the government, the emergency broadcasting system from the government, the loud tones we all remember from childhood and whatnot, there's a purpose for that. The government can use that to, warn people about whatever, some kind of emergency, or obviously I just said that, be like a hurricane, whatever, earthquake and stuff like that. But in the ways that when I was living there, they would use public access, and those announcements would often be around like publicity for their own campaign, for their own, not campaign, for their own administration. So, hey, what are we doing up in the Chaco region of Argentina? Well, we're building sewage system for poor communities that don't actually have sewage. Look at these. And then it'd be like, and you look at things like the American Rescue Plan or the Inflation Reduction Act, and you're like, let me see that promo. Like, let me see your promo, because I was up in Pacific Northwest in Washington, and I saw like there's like a waterfront revitalization project. Seems like a good one, not a pure gentrification one. And there was a little plaque that was like, this is being revitalized thanks to funds from the American Rescue Plan. I was like, well, funny, interesting. Like, let me see that. And Obama had the same, there's a lot of critiques about the Obama administration, same with the stimulus, in 2009, that it was like very quiet, that there wasn't a lot of like, hey, this is what the stimulus money did. This is how it helped your community. And I feel like that's the ad campaign we need. Maybe they're rolling it out right now. I don't know.
One hopes that they have some sort of plan to talk about the good things that they are proud of.
I'm not sure, though, because we haven't seen much of it all this time.
Well, right. So much of it is just
we
sort
gotta
of
go
like,
see that plaque up in Washington.
Yeah,
State.
exactly. Just a video of the plaque.
Yeah.
You can read the plaque. Or like, like we talk about like fireside chats. These sort of just like addresses to the nation of like things you're proud of. I don't even think his website for his campaign is like updated with policy or any sort of like, here's what we're going to do when we definitely win a second term. It's
right.
It's just that, that lack
here's
of communication.
What we're not going
and
to do.
Proudly, like Trump making a huge deal of like making sure his name's on the checks, right?
We all
got to check.
It's good branding.
Name's right there. I know who did that, and just being
and yet that
almost
Biden does
like
get blamed for the inflation caused from stimulus checks, though. That's interesting. How that
but it only
happens.
caused like, what, 2-3% of it, they said?
Right.
All of the inflation?
Go after the mother who are causing the inflation, which are
Yes.
corporations. It's all greedflation. Look at, like, do a fun TikTok. He should be nowhere near the camera, but other people, like, explain exactly why your ticket to go see Taylor Swift is so expensive and what they're doing about it. Oh my God, TikTok fucking love you, even though you signed a bill to ban it. Like, it's that kind of shit where you're like, no, point the finger at who's actually responsible, but that's the corporatism of Joe Biden, is that he cannot do that. He has to make it palatable. He has to seem like he's not doing class war stuff, even though there is a class war and poor people are losing it. So yeah.
Well, we were going to talk about greedflation today, but I don't think we have time to properly do that. But thank you for
it is true. But it's true. And it's one of those things where, like, for so long, so many people are like, I mean, a lot of this is just because they know they can do it and make more money.
And they did. Very successfully.
And they did.
It's not like they're going to stop. It's like, we did it, and now we're going to not do it as much until we can again.
Until we can again.
Until we can again.
Yeah.
But it's like, I know it would blow my mind at some point where you're out there and you're like, I mean, people were still paying it. Some people are showing up and dealing with it, but over time.
It's just like the reality of business and of capitalism, that this is just going to happen and they're going to do this, and to be like, oh, it's their fault because they know that they can get away with it. There's a new system. I forget what company it is. Grocery stores starting to, instead of having like price tags on items, they're going to start to slowly roll out price tags digitally on like the displays, so they can change them in real time. For example, as one of the guys was explaining, well, so if it's really hot out, we can jack up the prices of popsicles and like cold water.
Hate this.
Or stuff like that. Or like if something's about to expire, we like drop the price quickly and things like that. It's like they're always going to try to squeeze you. And I'm not saying that like the government doesn't like exacerbate it or allow it or like have something to do with it, but like, believe that these companies don't give a shit about you, and they're just trying to squeeze as much money out of you, and they will jack up prices as much as they can when the opportunity arises.
And that might
Yeah.
be something legislatively we can do, because
Yeah.
typically it's just up to all of us, the consumers, to like pull back, and then they're like, okay, we got it, we'll lower the price of a
Too
Happy
far,
Meal
okay.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But
No, yeah.
you could potentially, before the Supreme Court strikes it down in a few months, you could pass legislation that says like, okay, dynamic pricing, you can't change the price more than 10% in the same day or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure they could
Yeah.
narrowly write a bill that says, yeah, you can't like jack up the price of popsicles on a very hot day.
And that
or-
seems like something within Biden's scope of don't rock
Probably
the
not
boat
gonna
too
happen,
much.
but-
Not exactly.
No. I'm well, probably Katie, but I'm like trying to give him some credit.
Jonathan, that was a great idea. I think you should run for office.
Oh,
You should.
no.
email-
Yeah, you should
Actually, don't. We
be
need you here.
God,
Yeah, maybe. Have you considered being God?
you tried to be a god.
I think we did it. I
think
we're
we did
done.
it.
I think we made it to the end of our episode
We got here.
with enough time to upload it.
Yeah.
Other engagements,
Exactly. Perfect.
You know,
Hell
we
yeah.
had a good time. We covered some topics. And Francesca, ooh, I said your name weird.
No, it's
Francesca,
okay.
you're a delight, and it was nice to have you here. And
Thank
should
you.
come back anytime.
Come back
I'm
anytime.
happy to.
Not anytime. We're only here like for 1 hour a week. So.
But I mean, we could work around her schedule, Cody.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
God damn it.
We're flexible.
No,
is
such
what
a
I'm
pleasure.
saying.
Love it. And if people are watching, your color story matching your artwork in the back is just everything is working.
It's on purpose.
And Cody, what's up with your angles?
They're great. My angles are great. Is what's going on with them. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
Because you're like, how do you get your angles so good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on it, folks. We're working on the background. Some things will be on the wall.
He did have
eventually.
some blue lights on earlier.
I
that you
did
turned
earlier.
off.
They're still there, but I
you're just
try to get
blocking
another
it.
light. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
That was his attempt.
It's okay. We're working
okay,
on the
we're working on
angles
it.
and the lights.
This is
Work
a
on
new
the
thing.
angles,
We're
God
figuring
damn it.
out.
I've got a
angles,
really
color
good setup
palette.
for when I stream music that I'm never gonna do.
That you
Oh, this
still haven't
weekend you're
done.
doing it?
It's a whole completely different angle and it looks great. And this weekend
Was it your
I'm gonna
alt
do it.
personality?
Yes. His name is also Cody, and he
His name
acts
is
exactly
Cody.
like me, but he plays music instead of this. One of these
is
weekends,
he?
folks, it's happening.
No, this
I
weekend
got a
it's
new
gonna
device.
happen.
I got a device to make it work, but I don't think it worked. So we're still
Well,
working
that
on
seems
That's
like a
a
first thing to
meat
figure
thermometer,
out.
Cody. That's not going to do
it. No, it's not.
I could.
Oh, it is. Oh my god!
That's why. We
Thank God for the
problem solved.
visual element of this podcast. Otherwise, I never would have.
It's not going to help your live stream, but go cook a chicken or whatever. Francesca, can you please tell our listeners where they can find you and
Yeah.
support you and all that?
Thank you. Yeah. Listen to the Bitchuation Room podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and also follow it on YouTube, youtube.com/FrannyFio, FRANIFIO. Streaming Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern.
So much streaming.
Yeah, too much.
Or just the right amount for our listeners to go check it out. And heck, you know what?
You know what?
I always get so shy. It's like so vulnerable when you get to the end of the episode and I have to share my true feelings. But I've
What are they?
got to.
Yeah.
I can't keep this in
Be honest.
anymore.
It's okay. Open up. It's okay.
We love you very much.
Much.
Nobody move! Don't! Stay right there! I'm not gonna hurt you, okay? I'm not gonna hurt you. I just want to tell you about patreon.com/somemore-news. That's our Patreon. It's where you can pay just $5 a month and get access to some more and even more news, totally ad-free. No more ads, little one. No more ads. There are also tiers where you can get your name in the credits or even do a digital hangout with myself and the rest of the Some More News crew. The Screws, as we call ourselves, right? We do now. And since I got you here, I should also mention our merch store. Yes! Oh my goodness! Oh, that's shop.somemorenews.com for a bunch of t-shirts and tote bags and other stuff with Warmbo on it. This doesn't have Warmbo on it, it's just got me on it, but other stuff has Warmbo on it, and you love Warmbo on things. Sick freaks. So to recap, we have our Patreon at patreon.com/somemorenews and our merch store at shop.somemorenews.com. You can also just like this video or subscribe to us here on the tubes or wherever you get podcasts. There's a podcast, and this is a news show. We're like, we cover news events in a humorous way, with all fun. We film it, and then a series of still images in succession. It creates the illusion of movement, one after the other with sound. You take that footage, we edit it with some graphics, put some graphics up on screen. Look at all the graphics we put on the screen, and that's patreon.com/somemorenews and or shop.com/somemorenews. News! It's what we call current events